even more and put them in a stronger position. And I'm really curious to see what their play is here. They're continuing to beat on this tower. Vala staying in the middle, doing some damage. Stubborn Mule there, taking quite a bit of it. And now the rotation up to the middle. It does look like they're going to try and make a push for this middle fort, and I like this call here, May.
I think they may get it. You know, they have the advantage. They have the momentum. Johanna has to be a little bit, cautious now, since Sleepy Bear just absolutely has been doing so much damage. Like you said, that Hungry Arrow doing huge amounts of damage on Johanna. Percival getting out of the dragon now.
But they got what they came for. Another fort goes down. Lord Satan is there, but Lucid not grabbing the right person, not at the right time. A nice rotation out of here. A 2.5 level lead. RFS making this game look easy, but we talked about it earlier. If there's a map to come back on, especially late game, all you need is a pick or two and then rotate that over into a Dragon Knight, and you can easily turn this game around the later it goes on.
Sleepy Bear kind of having to get away from this, but able to vault away as the rest of the gentlemen come down. That was almost a pick, but really good awareness, and having that vault up so that she did not get caught there.
Yeah, luckily so. Lord Satan being sniffed out of the bush there, but we're going to see down here the positioning, all 5 members. This is not a way to catch up in experience by having all 5 members rotating. They're looking for a pick. They missed it on Sleepy Bear. They have to know that RFS says, hey, we know that they're down there. We just saw them try and kill Vala, but it's not going to happen. So the fact that they're leaving 5 members down there, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this, but Percival, though, Face Melt says, no thanks. The mosh pit, can it come down? It does lock down too, but it is interrupted. Percival gets absolutely lit up. The Sundering comes in, but a nice disengage there with the Mighty Gust. That is a huge counter there to that Sunder, especially on that back line. It neutralizes any engagement from that Sunder. That's why it's so popular. But now it looks like trying to be the aggressor is Gentleman here. They're down a talent level, but they are at 5-4. Saturnine has to be careful. They're taking a lot of that damage coming out from Vala. But will they be aggressive or will they drop back? It looks like they're not trying to be aggressive as we see Falstad flying up, defending against this top fort. They don't want to lose another one, and that is just going to neutralize any advantage that they had, but he did have to make that call, unfortunately.
Right, and with Falstad gone, it looks like RFX is going to poke a little bit and try to chase them off this a little bit. It is a 4v4 now.
Absolutely, the Shrines are now up. Falstad's going to be able to grab that. That flight is still going to be on a bit of a cooldown, I think. There's a 40-second cooldown, and I'm not sure if he's going to be back down here in time for this fight, as now the engagement is on. Lucid, there the Iron Skin is procced. Excuse me, that might have been the cleanse that came out there. So Lucid, with that shield on him, you can see Strafe going out, trying to finish the job. I'm not sure if they're going to get the kill, but the Flame Strike hits 2 members, but we do see a nice heal there coming out from Karazim. Ethics there, keeping everybody alive. Nice engagement, forcing them off point is RFS. Sleepy Bear going to go ahead and hearth back, regroup while the rest of the team comes down here and grabs another bruiser camp here on the bottom.
Right, it kind of an interesting call there to have someone go top. It obviously helped because then they were able to capture that shrine, but at the same time putting themselves in a 4v5 situation, they're down on experience. It could have gone really bad for them.
But they have started to make up a little bit of experience here. Again, making up experience is on their side given the map positioning right now. They're almost at level 16, and this is going to be their opportunity to start to catch up with the Sunder with the engagement. The stun coming out. Ancestral Healing does keep Greymane alive. Not able to get a takedown just yet. Lucid hopping down this back lane, but a 4-person mosh pit as Saturnine. No kills go down, but Shenmeister finally does go down. Has to be careful as the chain bomb is starting to go out, but Greymane goes down. Falstad goes down, and Lucid in full retreat. Will they rotate this over with this camp? They could probably take a keep here. May, that was a huge mosh pit.
Huge play, a huge mosh pit, and that engaging Sundering, that there's, whether it's a good engage or not, it works well there because ETC just able to slide in and get that huge mosh on 4 players. And, but really, it and doing, enough damage all around with that mosh pit, they really just had to come up with, to Li Ming to finish off those kills with the Disintegrate.
Yeah, that was absolutely a huge power play. Just when it looked like gentlemen were coming back, it got completely pushed back on them. And May, if you want to take a lane to try and force this game in your favor, you take that bottom lane. That bruiser camp can easily push down there with a siege camp if you capture those, forcing gentlemen to possibly defend later in the game. And now we see a potential grab here, but it does look like Ethic's staying in as long as he possibly can. Can they get this? It does look like gentlemen are going to be on point long enough. and they are in pursuit of Ethics, but coming back, Needham says not just yet. But Sleepy Bear has to be very careful. The Gravity Lapse does grab. I'm not sure if that did get her. It seemed to look a little weird as the animation went through there, but getting the pick that they needed puts them back in position here, and Thrall going to rotate up, but Stubborn Mule on point right now. He's got to be careful here. Thrall would win this 1v1 as the stun comes out. The barrel roll over, the power slide does come in from Percival, keeping him in place, but the Mighty Gus says, no, I'm staying alive a moment longer.
The rest of the team, both teams rotating up here. Oh, the huge Greymane just getting destroyed there.
He got absolutely wrecked. Johanna there. Lucid's going to be fine. They got to be careful not to spread that chain bomb. Did we go chain bomb? Yeah, 13. But they are going to possibly look at taking this fort. This is going to get them even closer to 20. Not as much value this late in the game, but every little bit helps. And now the stun coming out. The Arcane Barrier comes out. Ancestral Healing does land on Shenmeister. I heard the mosh pit. I'm not sure if it got off or got interrupted first. The Divine Palm goes out, keeping ETC alive. They're going to try and turn this fight around. And now we see the damage. The chain bomb is real. The Mighty Gus pushes the members back. The dash coming out to keep up ETC. But the damage from that chain bomb was absolutely lethal, forcing RFS to back out there.
Yeah, and a great condemn right there by Lucid, just able to get everybody in close quarters so that Kael'thas could put that chain bomb out and get the most value for it.
And now we see closing in on 20. Nobody on these shrines. I wouldn't be surprised to see them hop back, grab these camps while they get 20. This is going to allow them to force the action at 20, have the camps pushing in the meantime. And if they get a Dragon Knight forcing the gentleman to defend, then these camps are going to have ultra value that they would at any other time in the game. And you can see the prioritization right on that. And we see a full 5-man rotation for that of gentlemen, knowing they have to play extremely safe right now. And they are almost 2 levels behind. They're looking for a fort, but they have to be careful. And the engagement's about to come in here. The power slide on Lucid. The Iron Skin is going to be used to get out of there. The totem with that huge slow basically keeps Percival in place. But Ethics and Lord Satan on this back end. The Sundering does come in here. May Saturnine, is he going to go down? Greymane just barely able to stay alive. Can they keep him alive? The chain bomb does go out. We see Kerosene go down. Lord Satan trying to get out of there. So a nice turn of events once again in favor of gentlemen. Can they capitalize on this?
Huge gravity lapse there by Shenmeister so that Kerosene couldn't get the palm off on himself.
Well, we now see 2 Bolt of the Storms coming out that extra slow. Now the mosh pit comes in once again, but the gravity lap says no, not this time. A huge mistake, but we do see the death metal coming in there. Can they capitalize? Not able to take down Lucid, so now they do take down Lucid with a huge shot there. That was that mirror ball with those magic missiles. The reset, can Li Ming turn this around? But he's got to be careful as the gravity lapse goes up, and Shenmeister gets taken out. So does Johanna just the minute before, and turning this fight around. RFS says, hey, things look bleak, but we are coming back, and that is a huge turn of events. Gentlemen just basically gave that fight away.
Yeah, and it was back and forth. Percival came in and died there, but the Death Mosh giving him enough time to get enough damage in and finish off those kills. And, great gravity lapses there by Shenmeister, really making plays, but it not being enough. Sleepy Bear able to get away, and then turning around as Lord and Satan came in and just finished off Kael'thas.
I do not like that call by gentlemen. They rotated everybody back to defend that top keep and left nobody to poke. I would have loved to have seen Faustad or anybody there with some range to poke that away. But now they are giving away a DK here 18 minutes into the game, and they are down 20-19. They might be able to hit 20. We do see ETC is now back up. We see the dance coming out from Lord Satan there saying, hey, I'm going to wait for my friends, and then we're going to come down here. They are posturing in the bottom lane, mate, which means that they might be looking to go game here because there's no keep standing in their way.
It looks like that. With a level 20 dragon, you at least have to try and see if you can get any damage in on that core. It's such a huge thing. It's a huge thing to stand right there. It's going to take a lot of shots for you. They're going to put down the damage, and if they ignore it, then the player's going to damage. Lucid going a little bit too far and going to pay for it, taking the damage. The Gus goes out to disengage, but not until it's too late. And this might be it. With no tank and a Dragon Knight, how can the gentleman defend against this?
Phoenix going out. It's only going to zone for so long. GS Needham has to be careful on that back line. Lord Satan is taking quite a bit of damage. The Strafe going out as well. Saturnine trying to defend. The shield is down. They have plenty of health and plenty of damage. And May, it looks like they are taking that last fight, and they are taking it. This is GG. going out, the mosh pit coming out just for fun there as the core goes down. RFS finishing the job, and they are going to be heading into the finals in our best of 3 in this NexVerse Season 3, week number 5.
That was such a great game. You know, it was so back and forth, and so many of those team fights, you know, Gentlemen would be ahead for second, and then there would be like a slight disengage, and then it also, RFS would just come back. They would wait for the positioning to rework out so that it was in their favor until they could get someone around and get people in the right position to put the damage down, and it was really, really fun to watch. Looking at the damage here a little bit. Let's see here. Tons of damage from Li Ming, 68k there. And huge, like you said, that mirror ball that happened, that was a beautiful mirror ball.
When they secured that kill on Loser, that turned the fight completely around. It looked like Gentlemen finally had the moment that they needed, but the damage that came out there from Li Ming, and then the fact that they stayed in there and continued to get another kill that basically won the game for them, and as the rest of the members went back to defend everybody in that lane, which they had nobody to defend the turn-in. Nobody flew up top. Nobody went to the middle to contest, and that Dragonite ultimately just won the game there.
Right, and you have to think that the Gentlemen, like, they wanted to secure that kill. Everyone was so low. They really felt like if they could secure those kills, it could have gone the other way. They could have gotten that dragon in that shrine and pushed and, you know, get some of that momentum back, but it just didn't work out in their favor. They were overwhelmed. They lost too many people, and RFS was just able to get that dragon. They had no contest against it and push right into the core.
Yeah, that was another well-played game by RFS as they're going to be moving into the finals. And we're going to wait. I know I just checked the bracket in the meantime. Epsilon facing off against North American rivals. Let me see. They are only 10 minutes into that game. I have Faker Fangirl on my friends list, so I know that he is still involved there. So I don't see what map that they're on, but we're going to try and get an update. We're going to cut to a quick break. We will be back with a little bit more information about this tournament, about everything that's going on. So if you guys want to just stay tight, we'll be back here shortly, give you guys an update. And we're going to be moving on to our best of 3 finals, where we're going to be seeing RFS facing off against either North American rivals or Epsilon. Again, if you want to get more information on this tournament or on the teams that are involved, simply type !bracket into your chat. The link will pop up and you'll be able to check out the Battlefy link there. Click on the team names if you want to, see who's involved, who's on what team, and the results for the night. There's a lot of good information on Battlefy. One of the best sites, I think, for teams that are, or tournaments that are using this. So check out all that information if you like. May, I think we're going to take a quick break, regroup, and prepare for this best of 3, which it seems to be shaping up pretty nicely. RFS going in here. And I know Epsilon looking really strong. They took out the UTA team earlier. They're facing off against North American rivals. I'm not as familiar with them, but I do know that Epsilon has been looking really good. And if they make it, I know that's a good game. And if North American rivals does take down Epsilon, then we know North American rivals is legit as well.
Either way, gonna be a great finals.
Great finals indeed. Anyways, guys, we will be right back. We're going to cut to a quick break. Be back for the finals here in just a moment, so stay tight. See you soon. All right, guys, welcome back in to the NexVerse Season 3, Week 5 of the tournament, where we just saw RFS looking really dominant in the last few games. And in the meantime, we had an update on our bracket. So if you guys have been keeping up with that by typing in an ! bracket and checking out the Battlefy link, you would see that Epsilon actually went down to North American Rivals. A little bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, we definitely thought North American Rivals is a new team, so we didn't really know how that game was going to turn out. We know that Epsilon is really strong, so it'll be interesting seeing them for the first time, really, for either of us in the finals tonight.
Yep, and I just did get a message from Inverum. They've got a draft link. We'll have that here in just a moment. We're going to head in. Again, this is a best of 3 in the finals, so that's going to be a fun thing, I think. Again, RFS potentially coming out with some fancy combinations. We've seen some really good combinations the last few games from them that have actually paid off really well, and they've looked really strong. And so North American Rivals, it's going to be my first look at them, and so I'm really curious how that's going to go. I'm going to give you the draft link in case you don't already have it.
Okay, thank you.
And we're going to get that going for you guys. I know that you guys are ready for the action. The long pause was there because we were waiting on Epsilon and North American Rivals to finish up. In the meantime, I do want to give you guys a heads up on the tournament. You know, some of these teams, if you do check out more information, which you can actually look just below the screen, you can find out more about the Random Championship Series, to find out more about the teams and the tournament and the organization as a whole, to be able to get more information out of there. Now, if you do look at some of the standings, you are going to see some of the teams that carry over points will have a lot of points, but if they're not active in the season, they're not going to be invited to the season finals, which you can check out more information. Again, if you went to that Battlefy link, clicking on Random CS, you can actually see the schedule because they have more than just heroes going on. You can see quite a bit of what's going on. So there's a lot of information you can find out both from the site and everything else going on with Random CS to kind of get an idea on what's going on and the tournaments that are going on and what's in store for the future, because the finals are always good because that's when you get the best of the best, man.
It's the most fun to watch. I mean, all the games are fun to watch, but really the most fun you have commentating is on that best of 3 because it's always so much fun to see, what people are going to do the second time. If it's the first time that two teams have played together, they have that ability in Game 2 or Game 3 to really deny strong heroes that somebody plays, or, look at the comp that one team is playing and really adjust to that. So I always find it really interesting when we get to this point in the tournament.
I wholeheartedly agree. Guys, a little bit of information. Again, Random CS, you can check them out on Twitter. You can check them out on Facebook. The schedule link is down there, randomcs.com. And all the information, including the Patreon link, if you do want to help contribute. I know going forward, there's probably going to be a few more things to make this tournament even better after talking with some of the people behind the scenes just the other day. So if you want to follow them or give them a follow, both on the channel here on Twitch to see when they go live, which is pretty much every Sunday right now. But again, for heroes, I should say. But if you want to see more information, more games, and everything going on, be sure and follow them on any of those platforms and even Twitch itself. And speaking of which, if you want to see what tournaments I'm casting, because I do other stuff as well and have a blast doing it, you can find me on Twitter at Jhow Gaming. You can also find me on YouTube at Jhow Gaming, and you can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Jhow4444. That's 4 4s in case you get confused. May, I think your handle's right under your face.
It is. Conveniently, it's all the same because I like to keep it simple. So on Twitter, it's @MaybeBuzz, and on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/MaybeBuzz.
All right. Well, they are in the band phase, so or in the map band phase. So I'm going to take you guys over there. OBS does not want to cooperate, so you'll get a quick background, and then we'll bring you directly on to the screen there, because that's guys don't want to just see a moving background. But either way, it's going to be between Dragonshire and Infernal Shrines. We have not seen Infernal Shrines tonight, but it is going to be Dragonshire once again. A lot of action, small map, different type of group compositions when you talk about trying to stay in that early laning phase to get the advantage and to rotate that in. We saw RFS get the early lead, rotate it every step of the way, and continue a dominating performance. And here they are with the first ban and first pick, and they are looking at Falstad right away here, May.
I mean, you really can't say anything other than that's a really solid pick for a band. Falstad with the global map presence on this map, able to get around very quickly. And also, I think that may be that they don't want to fight against Falstad for some reason. That would be my guess a little bit.
Well, we see, this every time there's a new hero, a new patch that comes out, and there's always a really strong hero. You don't always be the first one to ban. It's like you're not always the first person to ban Li Ming. So you waited for Li Ming, you would pick somebody else, hope that they didn't. It's the same thing here. You don't pick Zul, let them ban out Zul, and that way it's off the table and you kind of have the direction you want to go. Now, Rhaegar obviously received 3 waves of nerfs recently, and he hasn't been first pick, first ban in all the games. But what has been first pick for RFS, Thrall. They love Thrall.
And you have to say that they're smart for that. He's been in almost every game that we've casted tonight. He's such a strong hero. Sundering is so strong. And just, the versatility of Thrall really can help in any situation.
Yeah, I was talking a little bit earlier about melee heroes. Zeratul is prioritized at the really high competitive end. We see a lot of him, but Thrall is one of those melee heroes. There's not a lot of melee heroes right now that can really be competitive. That's why you see Zul, that melee specialist, he's kind of in there, but he actually plays a really good role with everything that he does and puts out. Sonya is kind of the only other person that kind of contests to stay on that front line, and everybody else just kind of fits in. We did see Artanis earlier, which was kind of fun. I don't think we'll see him much more tonight, but again, this looks very familiar to their last draft here, May. Thrall, Li Ming, and ETC. They have loved ETC tonight.
Yeah, and so they gave up Rhaegar Zagara there, and you had to think that, those were really obvious choices to pick. Zagara's really good on this map, Rhaegar's very strong. So probably knowing that they aren't maybe going to get at least one of those heroes and really capitalizing on that and pick heroes that they're strong on and who are going to make a difference. I mean, Li Ming, huge damage. We saw him play it before. It works really well. And then ETC, we saw some great moshes last game also.
And every time they pick ETC, we always see an Uther ban. And again, one of those melee heroes that really plays well in the current meta is Sonya. And now Sonya's off the board. It's one of those things I actually talk about a lot, is that you talk about Thrall in the front line, it almost has to be countered by somebody else up there. And Sonya being the number one choice, because there's not a lot of melee heroes right now that fit into the current meta. Zul now does, but if you take Zul and Sonya both off the board, now who do you use up there in that front line? You've got ETC and Thrall. Now, we've seen, a few different things. Now, the Falstad ban, I think, is a direct counter towards Thrall. Normally, when somebody sunders, Thrall in that back line goes Mighty Gust, basically saying that sunder is completely worthless. And I think that's why we see a first ban on Falstad there. But rotating back over, we saw Kel'Thas do a little bit of damage in last game. 2 games in a row now, we're going to be seeing Kel'Thas here.
Right. And, so we have Rhaegar picked and Uther's already banned, but RFS probably in a good place when it comes to support because we've seen Karazim get picked a lot by them, and it working really well in their comp. So I feel like even though those supports are restricted, it really isn't going to phase RFS at all.
Well, North American rivals picking up Greymane, and they're going to go with Karazim, which means they're going to be stacking that front line, I believe. If they go Karazim, we got to look at it another front line hero, and I'm kind of curious who that would be. I mean, there's not a lot on the board. I mean, they could go a double warrior composition, but I don't necessarily like that in their compositions they've been going with so far tonight. But you don't normally pick Karazim without at least having 2 or 3 up there. I mean, Thrall and ETC is enough, but I feel like the way that they've drafted, they're going to go with another melee, but they're probably debating who do we go with.
Yeah, and I think that they're in a position where they could really take any melee. Like, you could see Artanis. I don't know if we will necessarily. I think that I think this is a situation where Tyrael might even be a not-so-crazy choice.
One of the popular ones would be Diablo with Thrall, but they are going to be content with I guess they really like Karazim. Ethics plays Karazim. I guess they really like him, and they're going to go ahead and continue to fortify that back line. But normally you'll see a Thrall with an Apocalypse Diablo for that double stun combination, but they're going with damage there.
And if Karazim works out for him, they may, kind of be baiting NA rivals to, if it works to ban Karazim, to deny Ethics that, and try to do something else in game 2.
I feel like if anything, they need to ban Thrall or ETC or both or any combination. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if RFS pulls off game number 1, I wouldn't be surprised if they do look at possibly banning out a Thrall. And saying,
Thrall ban would be strong.
Yeah, first ban. Maybe letting Zul go through. That's the problem. If you ban Thrall, you're letting Zul through. And depending on who you want to deal with, maybe you're just content dealing with what you know from Thrall and what you don't know from Zul. The good thing is they did pick up Zagara, and that Devouring Maul can be a huge counter to that diving composition potential between ETC, Thrall, and Karazim there to back him up.
Yeah, so we see RFS finishing out with Vala, someone who, is really good, and Johanna getting picked up on NA Rivals. We saw Vala really eat through Johanna in a previous game, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out here. It really depends with the Vala build, how that works out.
Well, I'm going to wait for my invite. I don't know if you've gotten yours yet, but...
I have not.
They don't want us to play.
We will wait patiently, I guess. They probably have to have, like, their team chant.
I invited myself in.
High five. That was pretty slick there of you.
All right, so again, Dragonshire, this is a best of 3, so this is game number 1 coming up. So we will get to see a couple teams coming out here. Possibly we'll see some new strategies. We haven't seen Did we see Cho'Gath? No, we haven't seen Cho'Gath yet. We saw Ban. So nothing just yet, nothing too crazy, but there's a lot of potential. In the game tonight, we're one member away from getting in here, loading into the finals. Again, a lot of good stuff coming out from tonight. We've seen some really strong play from RFS, a staple in the amateur scene, especially at the upper echelon of the amateur scene. I know that they've been training a lot of scrims, a lot in the way of coaching going on there, trying to get them to that next level. And this is one of the best ways they can do it, is by getting into these amateur tournaments along with other people that are trying to take that next step, because a lot of teams actually start from the amateur scene and work their way up over time. It's a matter of continuity. It's a matter of playing against better players, good competition, and getting better.
Yeah, and also, getting familiar with your team, really getting that camaraderie to that point where you almost can read each other's thoughts and you know what's going on, and it matters. And plus, you build that following. A lot of us, I'm an RFS fan, and one of the first teams, like when I started casting, they were around. So whenever I see them, I get really excited because I feel like I know them.
I think that's the way a lot of people is. I mean, a lot of people are. I mean, you take a look at some of the people that you're working with, and all of a sudden, you talk to them, and then you talk to them some more, and then you realize it's been 3 weeks, you're like, wait a minute, I'm casting you again, and I feel like I know you now. At least that's how I do it with a lot of the people. My friends list is long now, May. I can't keep up with it.
It is the side effect of casting, I guess, is that long. I'm like, I don't know who that person is, but all right.
That is true. As we are going to be looking at RFS on the blue side once again, it's going to be Percival on ETC, Lord Satan on Thrall, Sleepy Bear on Vala, GS Needham on Li Ming, and then, of course, Ethics on Kerosene.
And in the red trunks, it's going to be Heat on Zagara, Zig on Kel'Thas, Sind on Rhaegar, Learn on Greymane, and Dutch on Johanna.
Well, Dragonshire, it looks like both teams are poised to come directly to the middle. Taking a look at the talents, it does look like we're going to go Magic Missile build there for Li Ming, but it does look like, again, this has been one of the more common strategies here lately, where teams tend to rotate up to this top middle portion and try and look for somebody that looks for a gank. But actually, are they going for a tower here? They're taking care of Li Ming because Li Ming's structure damage is ridiculous. So North American Rival says, hey, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do it on the bottom, and we got an early start, so it's actually going to work out really well in their favor. Plus, they have better wave clear. When you talk about that Flame Strike, it's going to be coming down from Kel'Thas. 2 towers down almost instantly for that of North American Rivals on the damage they're done. And slowly getting the second tower down now is going to be RFS.
Yep, so both teams kind of in the same, getting to the same point, but, pretty expected for them both to do that right out of the gate.
Lord Satan in a little bit of trouble. The Condemned coming in. We are seeing the dive. Lord Satan not going to get out alive. First blood less than a minute in as Thrall goes down, and now Sleepy Bear has to be careful. Learn there on that Greymane being very aggressive as they're going to go ahead and drop back here. GS Needham has to be careful as 4 members are top. We might see a rotation again, leaving Zagara in that bottom lane. Mana Addicts and Regeneration Master picked up there between Kel'Thas and Johanna, so we might see another rotation here and see how it pays off as the game goes on.
Sleepy Bear rotating down, Heat on, maybe in a little bit bad position here in this 2v1.
They're going to turn this around. Percival trying to keep the damage out of there as Percival gets hit pretty hard. That bomb does go off. That, the fire explosion. Man, the name escapes me. But either way, the damage is out, and in GS Needham there, he's going to go ahead and dive back, try not to spread that damage anywhere. But right now, North American Rivals, very aggressive with their approach. Definitely.
And, they had the dragon there for a little bit, but RFS had 2 people in the mid, and they really couldn't grab it. Percival going in really low still, too. Sind hiding in this bush. Percival taking a lot of damage. and he is going to go down there.
Oh,
Cammy coming down, trying to do something about it, get them off this a little bit, but a little bit too late.
I was really surprised that Percival went in there that low. Ethix coming over here with a quick punch on Zig. Said, hey, not yet, buddy. No, seriously, not yet.
You know, I think they thought they had the 2v1 there, that it was just heat on. Sin hadn't really shown in lane yet, so maybe thinking that they were going to be able to get that quick kill and grab that shrine.
Oh, the DK picked up right before Thrall could finish the job and get on point. He stayed on those minions a little bit too long, thinking that Ethix was going to be fine there to defend. An early DK, not always the most valuable, but the towers are going down here from the damage of North American Rivals, looking really good right now. Very aggressive. They're starting to build a little bit of a lead. Not a huge lead, but their aggression, 2 takedowns, and the way that they're rotating is looking really good right now, man.
Yeah, RFS not bringing everybody there to defend. Thrall was in the top and Li Ming was in the bottom, so Zig able to do quite a bit of damage actually with that dragon right away. Getting these walls down, trying to play it safe, maybe waiting for the opportunity to go in.
North American Rivals, who are you guys? Because you are so aggressive that you actually picked up Gathering Power at level 4 for Kael'thas. Such a risky play. Such an interesting play, because in the competitive scene, it's not always the easiest to get kills. There's not always a ton of games when you start to talk about higher stakes. But Gathering Power picked up nonetheless from Kael'thas, and that'll be something to keep an eye on as the game goes on here.
Are we about to see the return of the Kael'thas?
It's a good question. So far, it says not as much as we would like, but 2 times tonight, Kael'thas has been picked up, both teams grabbing their siege camps, and no surprise, the Klin's going to be coming out there from Rhaegar, as well as that fission bomb that's going to be coming out. Percival stuck here again in a sticky situation. The totem does go down, the damage coming out, the shield coming out there is going to keep him alive. That's at level 4 protective shield from Kharazim. He's going to do enough healing to get him out of there. But man, Percival in some tough moments so far, because the damage coming out from North American Rivals is real right now.
Yeah, very strong, very aggressive. We see Learn on Greymane just being relentless with harassing in whatever lane he's in.
Yeah, no surprises in the rest of the builds going on here. Gathering Power being the biggest shocker of the night, but we are going to see specking into Condemn, but Percival coming in here trying to get the power slide in. Learn caught out of position and goes down before the rest of the team can rotate over. And now Zagara rotating to the top. The damage is coming back on the side of RFS. They're not going to be able to follow up with too much, but Li Ming trying to do some poke damage there. And you can see RFS says, hey, we've had enough of this. We're the aggressor here. We're going to try and turn this game around. And now the next shrines are coming up, and it looks like the teams are going to jockey for position once again as level 10 is getting even closer here, May.
Yes, it is. So we see with the dragons about to pop, it looks like everyone is going to rotate forward. It's going to be, well, NA Rivals are going to, looks like, I thought they were going to come all the way down. It's a little scary that Zig's down here by himself against these three of RFS. You really can't contest that at all or even poke it.
Well, not a whole lot. He's going to be able to get the Flame Strike down. But when you talk about GS Needham rotating over here on Li Ming and that damage that's going to go out against the structures, that's one of the main concerns, more so than is Zig going to be alive, because he's not going to be able to do much of anything here. But if they sit here and let Needham continue to poke away, which it seems like they're more than content with letting them do it. And now Zig, the body block is real! A nice body block there between Percival and Ethix. A huge turn of events there in favor of RFS. And now it looks like they might even be able to rotate this into a Dragon Knight. But Zig getting caught out of position there. A huge mistake on the side of North American Rivals.
Yeah, huge power slide by there by Percival. And then Ethix with really good awareness getting right next to him, so that Zig had nowhere to go. He was just stuck there and had to wait until he died.
Lord Satan getting caught in the Devouring Maw, but the Sundering comes out. Sleepy Bear with that strafe gets taken down immediately. And now Lord Satan, the Blessed Shield goes down, but the Divine Palm just in time. Can they turn this around? Hedon in full retreat, just barely surviving. Learn, he's going to go ahead and get out of there as well. So a huge Divine Palm to save Lord Satan. And a huge turn of events in these last few fights, as now we see both teams repositioning. A possible Hearth was going out there to try and get going, but the prioritization over the shrines, not wanting them, as Percival's standing on point. They don't want to give this up. Disintegrate. The Mosh Pit catches too. I'm not sure if they have enough follow-up damage. We do see Li Ming down there. The Ancestral Heal goes off on Kael'thas. The Chain Bomb going out there, but Zig body blocked once. again, and another takedown with nice positioning there from Percival.
Yeah, great positioning. Zig actually got that Ancestral too. It just, you said, Body Block wasn't able to get out of that shrine. All of RFS just surrounding him in a circle and laying down the damage.
Oh, nice. That right there was huge. Now, we do see Learn. Can he get positioned out of there? He is going to survive, but the nice dismount there on Percival saved Learn's life just a moment before. Not able to get that Dragonite is GS Needham. They're all on point. Thrall and Zagara battling out, but the battle continues here in the middle as Percival has to retreat. No health, no mana. He's going to Hearth back, and that's going to allow North American Rivals to try and even this up just a little bit because it is still one shrine to one. And this is a tough position. The back and forth is real right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's still really pretty early in the game. Both teams at 11, basically even on XP, but both teams being so aggressive that really those tanks taking a lot of damage and having to be really careful that one of them doesn't go down, because that's going to shift the whole momentum of those fights.
Absolutely no. Actually, I take that back. Gathering power. We do see. I'm going to follow up on this, but the Devouring Maw goes out on Percival in the back line. The totem goes down. GS Needham back there, but Percival, he's trying to retreat. The shield goes down, but Pyroblast, it gets neutralized by the Divine Palm. That is what I was going to call, is that they did decide to go out with Pyroblast, the Sunder re-engagement here, and Greymane gets absolutely annihilated in the back line. ETC finally goes down. Will the Ancestral Healing land? It does on Johanna. Iron Skin is going to allow her to get out of there. The follow-up, can they get a stun? Can they get the kill? Condemn does bring them in. They're not able to secure it. Lord Satan on the retreat, not trying to spread in that damage. So a one-for-one exchange. They are both lucky. More was not done there.
Dutch barely able to get away there. A huge heal coming from Sin to able to save him at the last minute just so he could tap that well and get back up.
We are seeing both teams retreat. Both shrines temporarily captured by RFS, but 13 is hit for North American Rivals right now. And one of the things I was going to call out before that, Pyroblast. A huge choice there, but Kael'thas already being taken down is getting almost zero value out of that gathering power. I mean, it's one of those things, it's a huge risk, and so far it has not paid off. They were able to get the Pyroblast out, but when you talk about Divine Palm, it's going to be really hard to land a kill with that.
Right. Because it totally negated there, no value, and that ult is down. And I mean, I guess you're trading ults for ults, but still.
Yeah, the mosh pit actually went out. It got interrupted, but now it went down and got interrupted again, but it's now on full cooldown. The power of Li Ming is coming out with the reset Sind in full retreat. He's not going to be able to survive. He is going to be able to survive. Can they follow up on the kill here? Sind does get taken down. Devouring Maul, Dutch on this back line. He is in all kinds of trouble as Johanna goes down. 4 members are down. Hedon trying to survive. 1 member is going to rotate up for that shrine. This is going to be a DK. But in the meantime, GS Needham says, wait a minute, I can still do some damage here as she is poking like crazy. Hedon coming to try and defend. The roaches are going to go out, but Percival looks like he's going to hop on this Dragonite, and that is going to be a huge momentum swing for RFS as now the talent and, the experience advantage is fully in their favor.
Looks like they are going to grab this dragon. We'll see what they do with it. They have a little bit of advantage here. They have the momentum.
Well, they did get that front gate down, but what will they be able to do with this? We see Vala rotating down here with Sleepy Bear and Ethix. They're looking to try and take this fort while the Dragonite distracts them. That fort, if they can get this without rotating the whole team, that's a huge advantage. But that Dragonite being absolutely obliterated here, getting little value. Percival had 45 seconds left on that, and almost nothing gained from that DK, May.
Yeah, the only thing he got there was the well. I think he saw early on that he wasn't going to get that much damage in. Oh, Learn going down a huge disintegrate as he brings the whole team back into him.
Oh, Hedon, or Lord Satan has to be careful. That chain bomb is spreading amongst the team, and the damage is going out, but they do secure the kills there, May.
That hungering arrow on Kael'thas, Sleepy Bear was like, no, you're not going to get away. I have the range, and I'm going to make you pay.
Huge turn of events as now we have almost a 2-level lead. They're going to drop down, grab this camp here while members of North American Rivals are down, and they're trying to turn this and just completely take control of this game, which they have done. Taking a look at the level 16 talents. Stone Skin for Vala, wanting to stay alive, afraid of that Greymane dive. An interesting choice there for Vala, but I guess it's not that much of a surprise. No Diamond Skin, though, for Li Ming as she is specking into Mirror Ball, so huge damage potential coming out there, but Vala wanting to stay alive. And man, I still am questioning this gathering power call here, May, at level 4 for Kael'thas.
Yeah, it may come back to really hurt them. I think that with the Stone Skin for Vala, it was maybe a smart choice there. Vala is getting, a little bit targeted by Greymane. We saw her go down once in the middle of a strafe. So maybe you want to have that little bit of extra survivability so that she can last a little bit longer in those fights.
Well, making a huge priority to grab these camps here. They're going to grab the Siege camp. They're probably going to rotate up here and grab this Bruiser camp as well. And it looks like they're going to do just that. Again, we saw this in one of the earlier games. If you can rotate these, continue to prolong the fights, especially force the fight on another side of the map, these camps can do some serious damage. And it looks like they're making sure to prioritize these pretty heavily.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see them clear this thing. The opposition camp so that theirs can push while they grab this top and maybe just babysit it a little bit even.
I think this is a good position for them to be on. They have their entire team top. This fort is up here. Now at level 16, that does put North American Rivals on even talent levels, but they're going to rotate over, grab this fort pretty easily because they have nobody back to defend it. That's going to give them a tiny bit more experience, and again, a full, on chase to level 20 is going to be what RFS is going for now. And this is a good start as they take this down. But in that bottom lane, exchanging, that is North American Rivals. I'd be very careful here because they have no camp at their back. And a full camp at their back is that of RFS, and they are doing a ton of damage over here.
Yeah, and it looks like NA Rivals is going to have to go and contest it. They don't want to just let this camp push on this keep.
Yeah, they all hurthed back and making the right call there. That would have been way too much to give up because that keep would have went down much faster on the side of RFS, or at least them doing the damage to the keep. But now we see both teams contesting. Will we see a fight here? This is a good opportunity and one of the main opportunities that North American Rivals is going to have. They're down almost 2 levels, but they're on even talent levels. You can see their posturing here, possibly for a fight.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and do that. When RFS comes to try and grab this dragon, it makes sense they may sit in this bush, but RFS has to know that they're there. They're going to play this careful. They're going to just put Li Ming damage in there to chase them out.
See the Arcane Orb going in, basically saying if you're there, you're taking damage and we're punishing you for it. They aren't able to clear that creep out just yet, so creep all over this side of the map, basically avoiding any potential ganks that are going to be coming from the side of RFS. They're rotating down. Again, this is a very crucial moment. RFS probably is very content with rotating back and forth with these shrines, continuing to soak up the experience. They're just about 19, and if they want to continue this and then wait for 20, they are probably more than content. But now the dive comes in, the mosh pit goes out. It is interrupted, the Ancestral Healing coming in on Sin, but already going down on that back line is Zagara, and now Learn in all kinds of trouble. Rhaegar goes down, Greymane goes down, and it looks like the rest of the team is about to fall. Zig is going to go down. Dutch, the only one left. This is a 5-man wipe in favor of RFS. That Iron Skin is only going to keep Johanna alive for so long. May, they have potential at this point in time to rotate in. Will they bypass the court or bypass the tower, grab a wall and go for that keep? It looks like they're going to do the damage. This is a potential win condition. I'm really surprised they're not running right in for this keep here and trying to end the game, but they're definitely getting a keep. I'm not sure if they're going to spend too much time on this. It looks like they're only going to get a keep out of this.
Yeah, I think that they're maybe afraid that the respawn is a little bit too quick for them to throw this. I think that they're playing cautious because they know NA Rivals has come in and made some plays. So if they give them easy kills, the momentum may shift again, and they may have to be on the back foot.
Well, I see what they're doing. I think they could have ended, but they're making a little bit safer call. The party bush down here, potential. No, they're grabbing the siege camp, but they sent Li Ming to the top to get that. They're trying to get a DK out of this, but all members without Johanna are up, so the poke potential's there. If they can get somebody out here, the roaches are going to continue to poke at Lord Satan here, so they got to clear this out. But getting off of that point, that top shrine is not captured. Was that a mistake? Did GS Needham not stay on it long enough?
Yeah, I think he went back a little too soon because I saw it get back.
Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made indeed, Jhow.
Wow, that's a little tough one. Percival's still going to get this, and we saw this in their game before. They were still able to take this Dragonite. They knew at 20 they had the advantage, and they took it. There's the slow on send. He's going to be able to wolf out of there and get out, but will they try and play a little bit safer this game? As the Sundering goes down and isolates Zagara there, and Zagara goes down, and this is probably their opportunity to go ahead and rotate bottom, and this is potentially game. We saw it last game. In the last round, they have a 5 versus 4 advantage with this DK pushing. This is a potential end here for RFS.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard here for NA Riles to defend against this big dragon in front. They can't ignore him or the players, and both are going to burn down that core so quickly. Pyroblast goes out on Sleepy Bear, does a bunch of damage, but not enough to finish him.
Wow, so the core is still being assaulted there by Thrall and the Dragonite. 50%, they force 3 members off, but they're going to rotate in here, and this is going to be game number 1, going to RFS. Again, this is a best of 3, so we're going to be heading into game number 2 after a huge late game here by RFS, May.
Yeah, we saw, I think the real point when that game, was shifted heavily in the favor of RFS is there was a little bit of everyone is rotating around trying to figure out where everyone else was, not really committing to being aggressive, but not really committing to be defensive either. And RFS just waited. They waited in those bottom bushes for NA Rivals to come down. They were very patient. They waited for the opportunity, and it fell into their lap, and they capitalized on it, and they capitalized on it again when they caught another kill on Zagara, and they really just ran with those advantages that they had, which is so important. You have to take those advantages when they fall in your lap.
Well, the damage, if we take a look at the hero damage on the side of RFS, they absolutely obliterated North American Rivals. I'd be curious to see. I don't think we're going to see any more Gathering Power Kel'Thas builds going forward, as Kel'Thas went down 5 times and they were only able to secure 4 kills for themselves. So a well-played game there by RFS, neutralizing any advantage that North American Rivals had there. And so very well played by RFS in game number 1. Heading into game number 2, again, this is a best of 3. Not going to be seeing Dragonshire for the 3rd game in a row. So what will be next is going to be the next choice. I'm not sure if these guys are ready to go. I'm not sure if they need much of a break. But we'll find out here in a minute. I don't know if we need to go to a break. If they're ready, we'll probably just hop right into a draft here.
It'll probably happen pretty quickly. One thing that I want to talk about is there's this great synergy on RFS's side between Vala and Leeming. Vala is able to do a lot, with Hungering Arrow and with her damage is able to spread the damage out, and Leeming really coming in at the end of it, the beginning of the end, because Disintegrate is up so often, and just finishing those kills, and Disintegrate coming in so handy, for that slow late game, and it really having great synergy with each other because one just lays down the damage and the other cleans up.
Well, I think they had a nice thing going for them. We've seen that a couple times now. The Thrall, they absolutely love Thrall. I'd be really surprised. Even letting Zul through, I think, is an option. Mm-hmm. I think first ban is actually going to go to North American Rivals this time. Yes, so that'll actually, kind of give them the early draft advantage. So that's going to be huge for them. But how that plays out as we have our second cat appearance for the night. Hello, Kitty. Whenever I stop getting loud and casting, she thinks like it's okay to come up here. But either way, say hello, cat.
Hello,
as
cat.
Kitty says hi. Hi. She doesn't look like she's enjoying this at all.
You need to teach her tricks.
Not those kind of tricks.
For a halftime show in between matches.
I should. Yeah, I could probably make a little bit of money off of that.
A top hat. You can dress like Greymane. And,
oh, that'd be so cruel. I'd have PETA knocking at my door.
Oh, no, it'd be cute.
I just asked Ethix. He said they do not need a break. But I'm waiting for that draft link. But RFS, we've seen the last few games here really prioritizing the Thrall and ETC combination. ETC was countered just a little bit. We saw the nice interrupts. We saw the cleanse come out there. We saw quite a few things to kind of counter that, but it landed when it mattered. They got the power slides and the pickoffs when it mattered, and they played ETC really, really well the last few games. So are they going to continue the trend here? I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing. Can they keep one of those heroes out of their hands? Either way, RFS has had spectacular drafts the last few games.
Definitely. Playing towards their strengths. We may see something different this round. You never know. Or they and really depending on what any rivals do. Like, do you ban that Thrall? Do you let them take ETC? Maybe and ban that Thrall, knowing that Thrall is good, and then forcing maybe RFS to do the Zul ban.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Zool in the very first game of the night. We haven't seen him since then because nobody wants to play against him yet. They're not familiar. But will it be something that comes out here in the finals with a Thrall ban that they desperately don't want to have? But at the same time, they could easily go with a Thrall ban first ban. Could North American rivals force RFS to ban Zool and then possibly work at things for themselves? I'm watching the replay of the cat. Hello, kitty.
And, hopefully we'll also see a different map here. Hopefully we won't see Dragonshire again.
Well, we won't, because I don't think you're allowed to repeat
true.
pick. Yeah.
You're right. You're not allowed to. So what's the other? Maybe Curse then, or maybe something we haven't seen tonight.
I'd like to see Infernal Shrines finally. If not, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Infernal Shrines. A lot of people like that map. It's always some good action going on there. Still waiting on the draft link though.
Yeah, I don't think I'm on Heroes Draft, and I don't see it.
Yeah, they said they didn't need any time. I think they're lying to me. Yeah, we'll take a minute.
Yeah, it's nice. You gotta shake off and get yourself back in the mindset.
I'm taking a sip of water real quick.
It'll be interesting too to see. They are playing for third and fourth right now as well. So that is going to be Epsilon and the Gentleman, I believe, are in that game together. So that
I didn't even realize there was a lower bracket.
Yeah, I believe that they are doing that tonight. I read.
I don't see it on Battlefy.
It's not on the bracket.
Sneaky.
Yeah, it's a sneaky move there.
Speaking of bracket, heard me say it throughout the night, but if you guys do want to check out information about the tournament, Random CS itself, or anything going on, you can simply type in !bracket. It'll take you to that Battlefy link.
Oh yeah. So no, it looks like I misspoke. They actually didn't play it.
Okay.
There was a little confusion about whether they were doing a third and fourth, I think, and so Epsilon kind of they had already logged off, so they decided not to play it.
All right.
But maybe look forward to that in other weeks. Make sure that everyone knows that there is that lower bracket, so you can play for third. Because you get points regardless. You do get points based on your placement, so that can really help you maybe if you're kind of one of those cusp teams getting into the finals that are on the invites.
Yeah, the season runs 6 weeks, and then finals, or 5 weeks, then finals?
I believe next week is the finals.
Okay, so 5 weeks and then the finals.
Yeah, I believe so. Which is always a lot of fun. It's always fun to watch the finals and watch all those big name teams that you've casted for weeks and weeks come out and play together. And you always see some upsets because, it's the best, the creme de la creme. And upsets can happen. That's the best thing about HOTS is late game matters. And a late game wipe, a late game team fight that mistakes were made and someone goes down early and it can shift the entire momentum of the map, which, we've talked about Towers of Doom. And that's one of the reasons that, they talk about the pros really liking that is because a team can be an early game team and just demolish at the beginning of the game and get so many of those shots, those cannon fires off, and where it really looks like there's nothing that the other team can do. And then something clicks, it's late game, those heroes blossom to their full potential, and it can swing the other way very fast.
Like when it didn't go in that way, but when you accidentally hop off a shrine before you cap it.
Yeah, that could have
those
ended
things happen.
bad. Yeah, it's hard to time that. You have that timing down a little bit, like almost perfectly. You're like, all right, I'm going to start it now, and you just went back a little bit too early.
All right, I did send you the draft link just now. It does look like we're going to be on Sky Temple. Again, these teams like either the big maps or Dragonshire type maps. And Sky Temple is one of those ones to where there's a lot of strategy that goes involved. You don't always necessarily 100% need the objective, where some of these ones you do. And so that's why a lot of these teams like it to where there's moments where you can give it up or you can't, and it's something that we see quite often. So I'm going to let them know to go ahead and ready this up. You guys get to stare at the countdown screen. I think normally when we wait a few minutes, we can probably just let them know that they're more than okay to go ahead and start the draft.
Yeah, Sky
new
Temple.
link.
Oh, a new link. Okay. Sky Temple is interesting too because you'll see a lot of time the delay of that objective. Oftentimes there's much more important things to be doing than standing on that temple and getting those fort or keep hits in. So you'll see teams really push that advantage because it's a little bit of a breather. If you get a kill right before that temple starts, oftentimes it's better just to push your advantage, push a fort down, push a cube down, and get something going, momentum back up while the other team is recovering. And then you can go and deal with those temples, especially if there's multiple temples on the map. You'll see that a lot of time.
Well, the good thing, I think, about this is now Sky Temple, you also see a prioritization for Falstad. And North American Rivals with first ban. They're taking a little bit of time here to debate on this. Do they ban Thrall? Do they ban Falstad? They've got to make a decision here, and that's the part that I love about the current meta. A few months ago, you could predict pretty much every single draft. Tyrande first ban, basically every time. They're going to ban out Li Ming. They did not like the damage that Li Ming did last game. RFS with their first ban. Will they let Zul through, or will they not, is the big question here. Looks like not.
Let's see. I think I'm on the wrong draft.
It should end in
there
56.
We go.
Okay.
Yep, there we go. So yeah, not wanting to play against the Zul, so then that means it'll be interesting who NA Rivals takes first.
They're going to take Zagara, which, they're going to take Thrall out of RFS's hand. Zagara, Thrall. Zagara, Thrall.
I mean, that's a
Zagara.
good strat. Take
Thrall
Thrall off the board without banning him. Use him yourself, and kind of
Rhaegar.
throw it in RFS's face. And we're going to go with Rhaegar. That was all over the nerves on that one, all over the place.
I would not be surprised to see a Thrall Falstad here. Not one bit. I feel like we're definitely going to see Thrall, but I feel like we're probably going to see a Falstad coupled with him.
I mean, they could take both. They have to. And it would work. You have the map control with Falstad. You have Thrall that's been doing work and is solid and has been doing what you need him to do for all night. You really wouldn't want to mess that up.
Hey, look at that. Thrall. Falstad.
Yeah, and I'm actually a little bit surprised with the NA Rivals pick. I actually thought that denying that Thrall was actually a great idea. You deny Li Ming from being played at all, and you take Thrall. And Rhaegar, that is RFS going to waste a band on Rhaegar? Maybe not. And that RFS is going to take care of him because that's what they've been playing all night. So it surprised me that they picked that Rhaegar so early.
Maybe they don't have somebody that plays Thrall that well, but they definitely like Zagara, and Zagara, one of the most picked heroes in the competitive scene. And this is what I was talking about. If Thrall's going to be on that front line, oftentimes you need to contest that with a bruiser-type assassin of your own. And Sonya fits the role. Greybane only halfway fits that because he's so squishy. Sonya has the sustain. Greymane does not have sustain. Sonya does. Sonya also has a stun that's available. I mean, there's a lot to like about a Sonya pick. Now, they still could spec into a Greymane to join somebody at that front line, but I really feel like North American Rivals has to try and secure that back line. Knowing that North American Rivals had that Johanna that countered that mosh pit at one point after the cleanse, and then we saw the Condemn go down with that iron skin. It actually happened. But North American Rivals says, hey, wait a minute. We know you guys also play ETC, which puts 2 heroes left on the board for Warriors. And will we see our first pick of Stitches tonight? That's what I'm curious about.
Oh, we may see it. He does pretty well on Sky Temple, but it looks like they are actually going to go a different direction. They have Muradin keyed in.
They're going to go Muradin. That makes sense. Yeah. I think you prioritize Muradin over Stitches.
I think...
no!
We spoke too soon.
Are they going to take both of them off the board and leave NA Rivals with somebody like a Tyrael, Diablo, Leoric? This could get interesting.
I think they might. I mean, it makes sense to deny them that. You have that ability to kind of pull people towards you and really capitalize on it. And then they have Muradin for another stun. They have Thrall for a root so that he can't really get away.
Oh wow!
Slow on Falstad, yeah. So they're gonna do it.
I said there's 2 Warriors left on the board that are 100% picks.
And your calls with RFS have been really good. They've done everything, so they could pick this or this, and what do? They just pick both.
I didn't expect them to pick both, though.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we're going to make sure you have a weak front line. Now, Leoric and Sonya is not a terrible combination. You talk about a Devouring Maw, a possible Entomb. Sonya up there on that front line doing all kinds of damage with Wrath of the Berserker. The problem is, what do you follow it up with? You talk about the melee-heavy front line. This is a combination to where we used to see a lot of Kael'thas, especially with that Chain Bomb. You get in there, that Chain Bomb, you entomb them. It guarantees spreads. But you also have somebody like a Jaina that has a Blizzard that can come down, especially, I imagine we'll see the wider Blizzard radius to be able to take advantage of that melee-heavy comp. Now, this is the interesting choice. Do you pick Kharazim here? They do. And this is interesting. You talk about Sonya, Leoric, and Jaina. That's a lot of frontline damage. Kharazim's going to be up there, but you also got to expect that Kharazim's going to be taking some of that damage. So this is, although it's a weird composition, RFS going with Stitches, they now have to worry about, can they do enough damage? Thrall and Falstad are two really strong heroes. Man, this draft just got crazy.
Yeah, and I think that Jaina was the smart choice there. Kael'thas going into Stitches is really scary. Jaina has that Ice Block. She has a little bit more survivability. And that Ice Block really gives enough time for Sonya and Leoric to, they're fast. They can get up and help her to get away. And so it may come down to that Ice Block really being important going against Stitches.
Well, I think the night just got even more interesting, and they couldn't have waited for a better time because we are now going into game number 2 of the finals tonight. And man, is this just a huge turn of events. I mean, when you talk about Stitches and Mirrodin left on the board, you pretty much expect one's going to one, one's going to the other. Nope, they're taking both of them. And with Stitches, you think about it. You take Stitches, you grab a hook, you have Falstad who can help blow up a hero. You have Thrall that says, wait a minute, you're coming to defend? Because one of the main things that you hear a lot of people say is when Stitches hooks you, instead of trying to save that hero, because it's so hard to save that hero sometimes, you just engage on top of it. Because a lot of times that warrior gets picked up, or you try and rally around that person. But you talk about if you trying to engage on a Stitches hook with Thrall, and Thrall says, no thank you, and sunders you, I mean, that's potential blow-up damage there. I mean, that's... Ah, man, this is going to be exciting, May.
Yeah, and if RFS, if they can grab someone with Stitches, and then they can sunder the rest of the team away so that they can burst down that person, or they can gust somebody away. It may get to the point where whoever RFS grabs, any rivals may just have to abandon because they may not be able to even get in range to save them.
Oh, man, I am excited. I am excited for this, not even last game. Game number 2, this could potentially be the last game. Yeah. But, man, this is really, really interesting. I mean, you basically take the only 2 main warriors off the board. Rarely do... Now, in the European scene, Leoric is a little bit more of a solo sometimes. Sonya, of course, never a Sonya solo. Although I think I saw a solo warrior comp out of C9 at the regionals, which did not work out very well. I can't remember the exact composition, but I know they went kind of... Maybe it did work out. They went a couple of weird comps at times. But either way, this is how I like our games to go. Throw me something crazy.
Yep, throw me something crazy. Throw me something that I haven't seen, and that's going to be interesting. We really don't know what's going to happen. There's so many variables and so many things that could happen that it's really nice because you just don't know.
Well, we are just about ready. They are readying up right now. Everybody is in the lobby. I'm giving them the green light so that when they're ready, they go, we all win because we're going to be on Sky Temple. And man, Falstad Thrall is a lot of damage. Stitches has a little bit more damage after the buffs last month. Mirrodin, depending on how he specs. We're regrouping here. Nope, now we're starting. But either way, you talk about the global presence of Falstad. You can get some serious value. You get a hook that's able to pull somebody out. You blow them up. You have the stun there to keep them from escaping from Mirrodin. You have the damage that's going to be coming out. Will we see this? We've seen Divine Palm all night. You talk about this group composition. Needham is disconnected there. We're going to wait for him to get back in. But this is where you see a lot of 7-sided strike because you are able to take Stitches, a guaranteed hook, especially at 16. You talk about the distance. If you pull them from long distance, you basically isolate one hero. You take Thrall, you take Falstad, you blow them up, you stun them right on top of you. 7-sided strike. That hero gets obliterated so fast. I am excited to see what they do here.
So you think that we're going to see the 7-sided strike this time?
Oh, yeah. I think 100% 7-sided strike. You think about Muradin. He's got Avatar. He's able to heal up as well. He's got, nice trait there. And then you talk about Stitches, who he's going to be able to heal up as well. So you got a lot of sustain on that front line. A lot of self-heals. They're going to be coming out. All right, so one of the things that a friend of ours, a fellow caster, has made me aware of, because I guess I missed this because I didn't get to watch as much of the EU tournament today, is that Dignitas, who won the grand finals today in Europe, actually won with this composition earlier.
RFS is playing?
That RFS is playing.
That
whether that was intentional or whether it just, I think it fell in the way of that draft. GS Needham having some issues readying up. We got one more apparently that's not readied up.
I would guess it's intentional. I know RFS definitely is not afraid to try things. A lot of them are really good on a lot of different heroes. So it makes sense that when they see something like that work, it makes sense that they would try it. And they have it. They have this game to definitely come out with something that NA Rivals hasn't seen yet, and to keep them off guard and keep pushing forward to the win. And, if it doesn't go well, it is game 2. They can lose us and take it to game 3 and win it there if they have to.
Well, Sky Temple, we are getting there. I'm going to go ahead and load you guys over into the game. As we hit the loading screen, I'll update the scores. Game number 1 did go to RFS. We do need to make sure that is updated, as they are doing me a favor and staying on the same side. But Sky Temple, the temples are there. You capture the temples. You stand on them. You defeat the guardians that are on there. And that temple will shoot the enemy structures for you. We see a lot of strategy around this. If you win a team fight, you might actually go over, kill off one of the structures, save some of those shots to do damage somewhere else. Try and take advantage of your positioning. There's a boss in the bottom lane as well as 2 siege camps. We see a lot of these captured, May, when you know that they're coming. The first 2 temples are middle and top. The second round of temples is the bottom. That's when we see teams prioritize those camps in the top lane. A lot of strategy goes into this map. I like it. Who's able to execute it the best, especially when you talk about a Falstad being on your team, is what really brings out the excitement here. Not only that, but the Stitches Muradin combination with Falstad, Thrall, and Kharazim there. A possible 7-sided strike deadly combo to anybody that gets picked out.
It's definitely going to be really fun to watch. So NA Rivals fighting for their life here. They have to win this game to bring it to game 3 in their fight to win this week of the NexVerse tournament.
All right, on the blue side again, RFS. That's going to be Percival there on the front line. Muradin, Sleepy Bear on Falstad, Lord Satan on Stitches, Ethix on Kharazim. Once again, GS Needham on Thrall. And
on the red side, we're going to have Heat on Zagara, Zig on Sonya, Sind on Rhaegar, Dutch on Leoric, and Learn on Jaina.
I like the fact that they're going Jaina here. No Kael'thas this game. A lot safer pick, a lot better composition. Yes, a Leoric's going to be up there, but it'll be joined by Sonya. You've got a great healer in Rhaegar. You see the prioritization for the Vision, but it looks like we are going to see a possible rush towards this tower here. I'd like to see a huge turnaround doing the exact same thing here in the middle, but we are going to see a rotation down. Sleepy Bear already used his flight to secure that Vision, so he's not able to rotate down as quick. That's one of those things you see sometimes, but now the engagement is on. Maybe staying in a little too long. We already have our first fight here. Heat on Ezagara stuck down there at the bottom. Sleepy Bear taking all kinds of damage. GS Needham having to retreat. And we see the North American rivals are turning this around in their favor. Percival, is that dwarf toss up? Can he get out of there? He does! Just great. Over the wall there, May.
And Learn just going a little bit too far and taking enough damage to get him killed. But wow, that dwarf toss was just so close.
He sat on that until it was there, and he barely made it. So, a weird engagement in the beginning. I mean, no surprise that one team decides to push. Not as popular as anymore since the towers got their buff, but we see Falstad making good use of the flight this time. Does fly up there, start to get some of that soak, but we are seeing Both temples are now spawned. Will we see Thrall and Zagara duke it out in the bottom lane? Thrall is a great counter towards Zagara. Or will they rotate up? We saw this, and we see this quite often. Early game, both teams content with splitting these and trying to soak lanes in the meantime. But Learn down here has to be careful as the damage coming in, the blizzard coming down. We see the barrel roll in by Sleepy Bear, finishing off another kill. That's 2 deaths for Jaina.
Yeah, just really limiting the area that he could move in. And really, what is he going to do against those 3 that are coming in and slowing him? He can't get out.
Well, now we see Dutch up here in top. He's going to go ahead and Wraith Walk out of there. But they are now going to get on point. Is RFS getting the majority of these shots? Stitches and Sonya duking it out in the middle lane. And now we're going to see a rotation down. Dutch and Send rotating down, trying to help defend. But Satan able to stay on point, basically not allowing any shots to go off. Meaning that up in that top lane, we do see that getting a ton of value. Those shots are almost up, which means they're going to rotate down, and they're going to be able to defend here in this middle. And at the same time, Zagara had to dip off that bottom line with Thrall down there defending. So things are looking really good early game for RFS. Let's see the engagement, possibly a hook, looking to pull somebody off point here.
Yeah, Dutch taking a lot of damage, trying to raise it, Ghost Walk away, and able to do it. Zig going in with the Whirlwind, trying to do as much damage. But there's a lot of this temple left.
But Send, the rotation up from Thrall, no rotation from Zagara. The stun came out, they finished off Rhaegar, and now even more shots are going to go off. They're going to be able to capture the end of this is RFS, and starting to take a little bit of an advantage with this structure damage going out. So RFS making really good rotations here. Learn trying to take down Sleepy Bear, has to be careful he doesn't get turned on. Almost no mana left for Ethix, so they're going to rotate back, Hearth back and reposition here. And so nice early game from RFS. I think it's time for them to regroup and get some mana, but Percival has to be careful here on the back line.
Another dwarf toss to get away back to safety.
Yeah, he's going to stay up here. I think he's going to wait. He did tap well, so he'll be able to try and get some of his health and mana back, but I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody rotate up here, allow Percival to Hearth back, at least at some point, or get some mana to try and Learn coming back up here again. But I like the prioritization. Ethix down here grabbing the siege camp. I'm really curious, one of these teams is going to be grabbing the bruiser camps up top, and that's going to be a huge play. But the damage coming up here in the top, May, is for real.
Yeah, Learn and Zig just doing, trying to kind of create an imbalance, do as much as they can while they have that at 2v1 up at the top lane, and maybe try to pull some people away from the bottom too, because Hedon really not getting anywhere. A lot of creep in this bottom lane, but really not winning the lane at all. They have a lot of people up there against him, not letting him, doing any work and doing what Zagara needs to do, which is push that lane.
Yeah, Thrall, a great counter, and now they have the siege camp at their back. No team yet grabbing that bruiser camp, but we now see Sonya rotating up. I like this call a lot. I'm really surprised we don't see RFS doing this. When you talk about structure damage, Ethix up here in that front line. Can they take down Sin? Sin does get taken down, but Ethix able to get out of there, and now they're turning even more of the damage around. But you can see Sonya up top, not able. Did they get it? No, Sonya not securing that. I'm not sure what happened there. With that structure damage on that front gate already down, in that top lane, as Leoric goes down, he'll be back quicker than most. But with that structure damage already on the top of that gate being down, I'm really surprised he didn't commit to that keep, because that keep could be easily pushing that top lane and taking down that fort while this bottom temple spawns here, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, they really need to do something to kind of change how this game is going. They have to have RFS not all together, split them up, and make them react a little bit to what they're doing, because at this point, all NA Rivals is doing is reacting to RFS. RFS is in the driver's seat, and they're controlling how this game is going at this point.
Like, I understood, okay, so they sat on it and they didn't grab it right away. And I get that. But they saw the entire team of RFS down in the bottom pushing that. They should have allowed that camp to go ahead and start pushing while they knew the entire team of RFS was down. But now RFS, with a little bit of an advantage, almost at level 10, they're getting this entire temple. And you can see the priority to try and rotate up to take this top fort. They're moving to the middle as well, trying to get some structure damage to keep up an experience, but kind of an odd call right now. North American Rivals Dutch gets hooked there right after he Wraith walks, and down goes Leoric once again.
Yeah, he was so low that after that hook came out, there was no way he was going to get out of it, and he didn't have an escape anymore.
All right, the Playmaker is coming out. Haymaker is going to be there on Muradin. I like this call, 7-sided strike. Of course, and now Zig has to be careful down here. The rotation is real, and now we see Zig trying to get out of there. And it does look like they're going to be able to survive and disengage from that. That could have been deadly there. Looks like Haymaker was used in that. I didn't see who it landed on. We see Faustad in the top, though. Man, right now, RFS in a really strong position, man.
And really not doing anything with this advantage of having 10. Sleepy Bear taking a lot of damage, and Blizzard goes down is enough to kill him. But yeah, not really doing anything, electing to kind of back off with that 10 and not chase it. It looked like I thought that they were going to do something there right now, but they're all at boss, but that can't be what they're doing.
7-sided strike paid dividends because Leoric got absolutely annihilated. And now diving in, Percival using that dwarf toss over. The Haymaker lands on Hedon, but Ancestral Healing keeping him alive. Ethix trying to stay alive. Thrall uses that Sundering. The Blizzard coming down. GS Needham, can he stay alive? Entomb is capturing Ethix. Does he have a dash available? Can he get out of there? No, Ethix goes down. Lord Satan looks like he's in trouble on the back line. Zagara goes down. The Mighty Gust used for Sleepy Barrel. He barrel rolls out of there, but can Percival stay alive? He is being chunked down. It looks like Mirrodin is about to go down here, and that is unfortunate. That is a 1-for-3 trade. GS Needham is now being targeted by Sonya, so a nice turn of events right there for the North American rivals.
Right, great Entomb on Ethics. It was able to give them enough time to get him down. And then also Percival really in the back line actually got the kill on Hedon and then immediately switched to Learn. So there really wasn't that damage that NA Rivals had to put down. But with Percival so far back, it seemed like Dutch and Zig were able to kind of do what they needed to do to win that team fight.
Now we see a full rotation down here. They know that only one person is bottom because the rest of the team rotated up. Once again, Leoric going down. If you're going to lose anybody, let it be Leoric. But man, he got some shots. He'll be back in just a few seconds, so maybe it's worth it. You got to understand that you'll still give up some experience there, so you only want to die so many times. But now you're going to see the rotation up. Percival forcing everybody off point. Now this is going to be 2 shrines. I'm really surprised they're giving this up. They have to recognize the bottom temple has somebody on it, which means it's a 4v4 up here. Mate, that's a weird call right now coming out from North American rivals.
Yeah, and I'm actually really I thought that Falstad would be the one to say not Ethix, so they would have that heater because then they would have that advantage in that 4v4.
The Devouring Maw only capturing 1 there. It looks like they're going to be right on point. And now we see the Ring of Frost coming out. The Sundering, though, for the counter engagement. Sind goes down. Rhaegar in all kinds of trouble. 7-sided strike doing all kinds of damage. Zig goes down. The Wraithwalk by Dutch, but he's kind of in a weird spot. Can they take him down? The hook goes in, and that is another 3 down for North American rivals. And it looks they're rotating for boss here, May.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually that the Entomb didn't come out there to kind of give a little bit of a relief, but that Gust really good at knocking everybody away, making sure that nobody, was able to capitalize on any of those kills, on any of those plays.
Now RFS starting to distance themselves. Dutch using that ghost form to sniff this out, but nobody is around. Grabbing the camp in the top lane. That's not exactly the best, but they're going to try and rotate with that. Jaina is going to try and clear some of that, try and get a fort down to at least start to catch up on some of the structure damage and on experience. But now we have a boss pushing. Another hook goes in. Dutch, that 7-sided strike going out, but the Wraithwalk is there. The Falstad Mighty Gust comes in, but on this back line, Sin. Now, will the Ancestral Healing land? It does. The stun going to come out from the boss. Can they keep Leoric alive? Leoric goes down once again, and they are pushing this, and they have an opportunity to be aggressive. The talent tier is up. They're pushing this keep with a half-level boss still. Ring of Frost does grab 2 here, May. They're starting to turn the damage around. Sleepy Bear just barely able to barrel roll. But now goes Rhaegar. That Sind is not staying alive. Learned in all kinds of trouble, but a 3-person Maul is going to keep Jaina alive there. The Devouring Maul followed up by the Entomb here. Can they get the kill? Ethix is able to dash out. The Mighty Gust is available. So RFS barely able to stay alive. But in the meantime, May, they get the keep there, and that is exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, and, we're seeing Sind kind of getting caught a little bit too far up. Just with everything that RFS has, they're getting really good positioning on him, and able to just find whoever from any rivals is in maybe a little bit of the wrong position and getting the body block in, getting the positioning in so that they can't get back behind that wall, behind to their team, to safety. And really not enough damage too. We saw that into a huge Maul go out, catch 3 players, Thrall was the only one outside of it, and is not able to burst him down. And then even with the Entomb coming down, nobody going down when they were in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tough spot. They're finally on even talent levels. What they do with it, they really have to win a fight. Again, that damage that comes out, and you talk about it. There's the Wraithwalk, followed up by yet another hook there. Not able to capitalize on it. Zig diving in on GS Needham there. That spear going in. The Blizzard coming down on that back line. Learn has to be careful. We do see the Putrid Bile coming out from Lord Satan. And now the Ring of Frost. Can it land there? It doesn't. Seven-sided strike. Followed up by the Sundering in this back line. Zig trying to stay alive with that Whirlwind. Percival up here. Dwarf Toss is out. The Mighty Gust coming in, pushing it right back into the team. Rhaegar goes down there, following up the kill. Zagara goes down in Tomb, not going to do much. Leoric going down on 4-for-1 exchange there. The Temples are there. Jaina's going to rotate down. Another win here for RFS.
Yeah, maybe try and get a few of these shots in from Learn. No, looks like she could probably go down and grab a few, but it is a little risky. You know that RFS is coming down. But you saw, the Playmaker right there throwing Zig into farther than probably he wanted to go and ending up paying for that. And then Percival, as soon as she does that, just unrelenting on the back line, not letting them go and help anybody and separating him from the rest of the team. And then you see immediately after that, it's like they switch. Then the Gust goes out. So then everyone for NA Rivals is in bad positioning because RFS is determining where they stand.
RFS getting all the shots on these Temples now. The middle gate is going to go down as well as the tower, and it's going to continue to do the poke here. That well's going to go down, so a lot of structure damage down on the side of North American Rivals, but all three forts we did see. But Rhaegar getting pulled here. The hook goes down, and the Blizzard basically says, you're not diving in this time. We do have a fishing hook at level 16, so the range on that, you have to be very careful when you talk about your positioning when facing a Stitches, especially the follow-up that we've seen so far. They're going to go ahead and rotate down with the Siege Camp here on the bottom. Man, there's no keep down here. Are they looking to be aggressive and go for the core? This is really interesting here, May.
I mean, it looks like it does look like that. They are ahead of the talent. They, a big talent, 16 talent. And so you can see them trying to be aggressive, but pushing that core, it's still a little bit too early, I would think.
Yeah, the top lane open, no walls up top, none in the middle. That keep did end up going down, so only the keep in the top lane. They're being aggressive with their positioning. They're going to go ahead and grab this Bruiser Camp. Heat on poking there with those roaches, trying to see if they're grabbing it. They know that they are. They're not able to do anything with it. No fishing hook over the wall there. They're going to try to rotate this up for a camp. They still have the talent advantage, at least for the meantime, or they're going to try and grab this keep here. This is a huge power play if they're able to land this.
Yeah, it looks like Satan trying to maybe get some better positioning, trying to get the hook over on this side, which is smart. Smart. They're not expecting him to be there necessarily. Somebody may go a little bit too far while they try to defend this keep.
He's not able to land it there. That was a close hook. But now they're going to try and rotate around, try and get some of this damage in. The Devouring Maw goes at it, does grab a few people. Grabs nobody, but they're not able to capitalize on it. Looking for some, the Entomb goes down, but they're not following up, but the Ring of Frost goes down, grabs two, Dutch goes down, Leoric is dead. The heals are coming out, Send is gonna go down. 2 members down, 3 members down. If Zig goes down, the hook lands on Learn, but the Mighty Gust pushes them off. Can they get the follow-up kill here? Karazim goes down, Falstad goes down. So a weird turn of events here as Mirrodin goes down as well. Lord Satan in a little bit of trouble. Can they follow up on this? I don't believe so. It looked like they were trying to end the game. They did not get a keep out of it. And now, do we have... No, the Entomb is still a few seconds away. Lord Satan, he's going to come in there. Dutch trying to Wraith walk out of there. The slow coming out. Can they finish this here? This is really interesting.
Yeah, I did. I thought that it was going to be over there. That quick succession of deaths by RFS, enough to give any Rivals a little bit of time to reestablish himself. The Entomb goes out, and Satan is going to go down. And we'll see if any Rivals can make something of this.
This is tough. The Temple is up. The Keep is going to go down, and this is going to be shots on the core now. So they're going to have to start defending. Level 20 is now hit for RFS. Dutch standing on point, as he should, trying to wait for his team to get here. He's going to force Needham off, at least for the time being. All 5 members now up for NA Rivals, and Stitches still down, so they finally have some type of advantage. But the problem is they now have to deal with catapults pushing, and any Temple that comes out is now going to be doing damage on that core, and that's going to be very dangerous.
Right. NA Rivals losing the amount of time that they will be able to turn this game around. With the catapults in all 3 lanes, temples are going to be shooting right at the keep. The boss is up, and it looks like both teams are heading there. Maybe trying to the last stand. NA Rivals down a level, though. They do not have their Storm talents. They need that before they really contest anything against RFS.
I mean, if you think about it, if NA Rivals can win a fight this late in the game and grab a boss, it's a potential win for them. But they have to stay alive. And now the boss is here. Send being the one in that bush. They recognize that camp was grabbed, so the team's right around the corner. Not willing to take any risk is RFS, but level 20 getting closer. There's the hook. Can they get the follow-up on Zagara? It looks like a 2-person devouring maul. Nice turn of events here. They're turning on Lord Satan. The Ring of Frost goes down. Grabs a couple members, but Sundering does go down. Zig going down to that back line. That 7-sided strike turned into 11 there. Sen now goes down. Learned with the hook, but they're splitting this. Zagara goes down, rotating back. Learned going down. Jaina, and this is going to be GG.
Yeah, we're going to watch RFS go straight to the core now. It's just so much damage RFS is putting out. I can't even believe it. Rhaegar just not doing the having to blow Ancestral really early in those team fights and not having anything else. Zig having to go really deep to try and get into their backline and do something and dying for it because that Ancestral isn't up.
And this is a 2-0 sweep in the finals. RFS looked absolutely dominant tonight. And this group composition of Stitches, Muradin, and Karazim alone, pretty deadly. You add in Thrall and Faustad. They turned every fight in their favor from beginning to end, with the exception of a few slip-ups. But RFS, 27 kills to 9, May.
Wow, so many. Just really great fish hooks by Lord Satan. You really can't say that enough, that some of those hooks, like every single one was a playmaker, got it in. And then also Percival and Sleepy Bear with, playmaker and with Gust, really just putting people in the wrong position, capitalizing on someone being in the wrong position. And it really seeming like there wasn't enough damage on any rival side to capitalize on any of the plays that they were making.
Surprisingly enough, Thrall did 0 damage.
Yeah, well...
Did 0 damage. So a 4v5 fight. RFS pulls it out. The stuff of legends. Just kidding, guys. GS Needham had disconnected right before all that. I think there were some issues, but he did get into the game. He was able to ready up, but 0 damage there. I think that's a little bit incorrect, but either way, I'm watching the replay right now. A huge fight, man. That was just excellently done by RFS. Can't speak highly enough about them tonight, taking it home in NexVerse Season 3, Week number 5. May, a good night of games tonight.
Very good night. We saw a couple things that we didn't think we were going to see. We saw, this last comp by RFS, I don't think that any of us really thought that this is what was going to get played. And then, a lot of teams that performed really well, too. RFS always performs well. It was really nice to see a team that we don't see all the time. A new team, NA Rivals in the finals as well. Take out a couple really strong contenders, in that path. So it was definitely a fun tournament to cast and to watch.
Absolutely. So, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the night of games. It was a good night of games. We followed a couple teams. We saw RFS the last few games look absolutely dominant. And really keep an eye on them going forward. I know they've been getting a lot better. I know their coach. I know that they've been doing a lot of experimental things, and the new meta has a lot to it. And you see that they really prioritize the Thrall. So if anybody is coming to compete with them next week, ban their Thrall. GS Needham is a beast. And Ethics on Karazim, you guys got to watch out for that. Either way, I think that's going to do it. Maybe Buzz, they can find you where?
You can find me on Twitter at MaybeBuzz or on my Twitch at twitch.tv/MaybeBuzz.
Right on. You can find me on Twitter at Jhow Gaming, just like that says right there. You can also find me on YouTube. I do a few things on there with some new content coming this month, moving into April. You can also find me where I do the occasional stream as well as casting on Twitch at twitch.tv/Jhow4444. But you can normally just find out what I'm doing on Twitter because that's normally where I communicate. But good night of games. May, this is our first time casting together. It's been a pleasure.
As with you, thanks so much for being awesome.
Well, I think we've got some other opportunities coming up in a couple weeks for another tournament, which we can get into at another time. But that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Again, check out all the information. If you want to follow Random Championship Series, there's a lot going on. Follow this channel on Twitch. I wouldn't blame you one bit. Also, check out the information on randomcs.com, Facebook, as well as find them on Twitter, and with all the links just below here. Again, thanks for joining us tonight. Everybody, stay tight. See you next time.